Alright, it's springtime. Rec videos are back on the menu, and I have a great video that I want to kind of point out and show to better explain what happens, because it's one of these that to a new guy, and reading the comments from the newer guys in his comments, the more they watch it, the more confused they are. And the newer guys really, there seems to be a kind of missing key here that doesn't make sense. And it's this video from S1000 Rocket, and he washes out his rear on his 600 and he goes down. He did it at, he's okay. This isn't to rag on him. This is not to view him negatively as a rider. This is not for you to go and call him a bad rider. This is not to give you points and feel anything, nothing of the sort. I wish nothing but the best for him. He gave me permission to use this. I appreciate that a ton. Oh my goodness. Look at the two of them. Big boys. Ooh, and gravel. They about got me. They had a trap set for me. Anyway, nothing but positive thoughts and feedback towards him. Keep this in mind as I'm going through this. Now, what happened to him in this video? He committed two cardinal sins, and he added lean and throttle at the same time, yes. But as you're watching it, and as you know, the newer you are especially, you're gonna see this and say, okay, he didn't add that much throttle, right? I've watched this video 10 times. When I look at the speedometer, he's only gaining 3 miles per hour between that little bit and where he breaks traction, okay? 3 miles per hour, that's not that much. And it wasn't like you heard his bike just scream open, right? Nothing like that, so that can't be the only thing. And when I watch it over and over again, the amount of lean he added was nothing excessive. The turn itself wouldn't have required that much lean, especially at that speed. So that can't be the only thing, right? Is the combination of throttle and lean that dangerous? And the answer to that is yes, but the reason it's that dangerous is because it exemplifies any other issues that may be going on at that moment. And this is why the older guys really harp on not letting your not letting this happen to you, and why even if you could theoretically, your points of grip are, you know, miles away from being broken from where you stand, the speed you're going, the turn you're going, whatever, the habit of adding throttle and lean at the same time puts you so close to an event like this, so close to a catastrophic event. And even if you, like he most likely has gone and added a little bit of throttle and a little bit of lean at the same time, and he's gotten out of it 100 times. I hope that little guy's okay. Got a lot going on out here. He's done it 100 times and he's been fine, but on this one time, all the puzzle pieces came together. And this is what makes it so dangerous. And if you're watching this, right, he's going 50, 53, 54, loses his rear. What was the third factor that caused that rear to go, and why is adding lean and throttle so dangerous, and why is it such a bad habit to have and to pull off in any way? And what I think the third factor was here, some of the comments, oh, okay, we went right over that hole, love that. Some of the comments think it's the tires, some of the comments think he may have hit paint, some think that they saw an oil spill in the thing. And this is what I think is the common cause of a lot of people blaming those factors on the wrecks as well, is they disrupted their suspension. When you disrupt your suspension, you are going to have this really confusing moment of what just happened. Why did my tire just wash? When, you know, why did I just break traction on my rear? Why did my front just break? What just happened? And it's because he disrupted his suspension. Now, if we go watch the video again, the biggest issue and the biggest sin he commits in this video, aside from adding lean and throttle at the same time, is he's using his front brake to slow down to maintenance. He wants to maintenance throttle through these turns, right? So he's using his front and then he drops it. And he's off camera when he does this. However, the reason I'm coming to this conclusion is the way that, one, he reaches for the front right before the slowdown. He then, two, in the wreck video, his fingers are not off. He's not covering his front brake. So he went back to the throttle. Absolutely had to have 100% gone back to the throttle. So he went slow down. Then I'm betting the second you hear that engine pick back up, he's back on the throttle. What does this do? It compresses our front forks when we're on that front. We're gonna, and what I imagine he has done is he's come off that front fork, or he's come off that front brake, the suspension wants to stabilize, and then he immediately adds throttle back on, which is making the suspension go boop, 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 right? And this is even, like, I can show this well. So if I come up here, I drop, on, drop, up, on, okay? You can kind of see in 3 stages the way my suspension and my body's reacting on my bike, all right? So one more time, up, up, up. All right, so I'll actually do a count on it this time just because it may make it easier. All right, so we slow down, 1, 2, 3. One more time, 1, 2, 3. See how that is? All 3 of those stages are affecting the way that I'm sitting on the bike, my weight, and the actual suspension of the bike. So what he does, and where that third X factor is that caused this wreck and is what makes it so confusing, not only to him, but for guys in the new guys especially watching and trying to break it down, is that he has disrupted that suspension. And when he's disrupted the suspension by going down, up, on, he's going to make it, makes it so much easier to break either the front or the rear traction. All right, and I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna get around this little bend here, because this bike will only let you change the traction control settings when it's decelerating, which is a hilarious safety feature. Actually, there's a stop sign up here, even better. So what I'm going to show and kind of show you with my bike with this super aggressive traction control system is we're gonna have to hit an uphill U-turn. That's unfortunate. Oh, that's unfortunate for us. All right, not bad though, not bad, not my worst. All right, decelerate, traction control, wrong way. Crank at the 10, right? Why are you not? There we go. Goodness. All right. All right. So I'm gonna do exactly what happened in his video, and there's gonna be this orange light that ticks on my bike, right? And it's gonna, every time that comes on, just know that that is theoretically what my bike thinks the traction control, that's when traction control's on, it's cutting power to that rear tire. And it is also theoretically a point at which I could have broken traction, okay? Any other time, that traction's not going anywhere. But if you see this light right here, that means the traction could theoretically be broken, okay? So as I go through these turns, I'm gonna do exactly what he did. And hopefully it'll, just seeing it played out slowly, piece by piece, and seeing that light go off when that traction would have broke will make it kind of come all together for you as a new rider and watching these videos and being very confused on how those small little inputs caused it, right? So I'm gonna get up to a turn. I probably should have done traction control level 9. Let's see, let's do that. There we go. That should make this a little better. All right, so I got a straight shot here. I guess I'll fast forward the edit on the video just to make this make a little more sense. And a lot less boring to you. So straight shot, da 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 da. Oh, this little doggy, he's so sad looking. I hope he's okay. He's probably not. That's so sad. Okay, so I thought about something else as well on the way through my little straight shot back to where there's some actual turns in this road. And it was the other thing I forgot to mention back there, and that was the importance of being back to neutral suspension before entering a turn for maintenance throttle turns, okay? And this is where that dropping the front brake that I was talking about was such a caused so many issues. So if you're going into a turn at maintenance throttle, right, you need to slow down, get your speed, and then let go, and then go to throttle. All right, there needs to be a gap to where your throttle is already back on before you initiate the lean for these maintenance throttle turns. Because one, it keeps the suspension stable. You have to have your suspension stable if you're going to be going into these turns, and you plan on going into these turns at maintenance throttle, okay? So that's a big factor right there, and that's something that every new guy should be, everyone who rides should get in the habit of, because it will prevent issues like this if you plan on taking a turn at maintenance throttle. We're not going into trail braking yet, just because I still have yet to find a proper way to film that. But here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna come up and I'm gonna do a step by step, and we're gonna pay attention to the orange lines or the orange light on my bike, and we're gonna see if it makes sense with what I mean with how he broke rear traction, okay? make it over this gravel here. All right, so here's a good turn. All right, so we're coming in. We're going to slow down, and then he dumps and throttles. Okay, that was a little bit of a ugly turn right there, to say the least. Let's see if we can get a better one up here. All right, the same thing. I'm going to come, I'm going to go, I'm going to slow, I'm going to dump, and then throttle. All right, traction control light's going to come right on. Very little throttle, really. Very little throttle, very little lean, yet that bike immediately says no sir at that amount of inputs all at once, right? So here comes another one. The way I'm sitting with my hand, my wrist is all wonky. All right, same thing, right? So if I slow down, stop, throttle, right? Traction control light on. Now she's lighting right up. So same thing again. If we come in, we slow up, on. Traction control light is going to be on. All right, bike mad, bike real mad. So here comes there's a little more aggressive turn. There's a car coming. We may need to trail brake it. Yeah, hold still. Level 10 on this bike is so hilarious. But that's in essence what he did, and that's what caused it. It takes very little lean. It takes very little, really anything, to cause that kind of wreck to happen, right? And all it takes is all the pieces of the puzzle coming together at once, and that video being you. And this is why I'm very serious when I say don't go and watch these videos, and especially the newer you are, and especially the less experienced you are, don't watch these videos and think that this can't be you. It only takes that one little mistake, that one bad timing of all the puzzle pieces together, and that can very much be you, because it doesn't take much. He didn't add that much lean. He didn't add that much throttle. He didn't disrupt the suspension that bad. Really, he didn't. He just happened to put them all together at once, which happened to make the bike go down. Everything is a compounding factor on a bike, and especially when it comes to the throttle and the suspension specifically. They are two things that, in the suspension really, it's going to compound any sort of potential issue that you may, any other input you put on the bike, I should say, right? So keep this in mind. I hope this better explains, good Lord, I hope this better explains what happened, what caused him to go down, and I hope he'll chime in here as well and see if he, looking back on it and with that explanation of the suspension being slightly disrupted, if it makes a little more sense as well, rather than it just being the tire that broke, just that tiny amount of lean and that tiny amount of throttle that caused it to break. There's almost always a third factor here, and that's almost every time. That's what it is there's disrupted suspension on top of it, and that throttle lean combo, even if you are on the smallest amount of lean, the smallest amount of throttle, it compounds any sort of suspension disruptions you may have and will cause you to go down and put you down very, very, very quickly. So I hope this helps. I hope my terrible little traction control light demonstration will kind of make a little more sense to you. And yeah, thank you.